Hi good people, welcome back to another video. Y'all, it is so hot. Y'all, the high today is supposed to be 77. It's like 70 degrees already, and it's literally just now 12 o'clock p.m. Hot, super hot. But anyway, hope you guys are doing well and having an amazing day. So y'all, I'm gonna jump right out in this yard. That's why I got on my little hat and everything, because the sun is just beaming down too much. Ooh. Anywho, I'm excited about today's project. Just want to kind of show you guys the space I'm going to be working in, and this is going to be such a great video to kick off spring, to just kind of kick off the whole spring vibe. So I'm just so excited, y'all. I'm definitely in the spring fever. I got the spring fever, I got it going on. So yeah, I'm super excited. So anyway, I want to go ahead and just kind of show you guys the space that I'm going to be working in today, and just kind of show you what I'm planning to do. So without further ado, y'all, let's go ahead and get started. All right, you guys, so here's a look at the space I'm going to be working in. I want to basically add some beautiful flowers and just kind of landscape around the tree area. And the reason I want to do that is because, guys, this is such a huge and a large landscaping space, and I want to brighten it. I feel like there's a lot of black with the mulch. You got a few greens sprinkled in or whatever, but we need some color. So that's the purpose of me wanting to add the color, the beautiful colorful flowers around the tree, just kind of give it a nice little pop of color. So that's definitely one of the things I'm going to be doing, and I'm excited about that because these hydrangeas, is going to take them a while to really get up, and even, you know, with or without the hydrangeas, I need some color in this space. I really do. So I do have some big plans and big projects for this area, because again, this is a really large space, y'all. Not sure if you guys can tell, but this is a really large landscape. And so, you know, in a future video, I am going to be adding some type of seating here. Right now, I just have my little, you know, my little table and chair, my bistro table, or not table, Lord, my bistro chair sitting here for now. The table is actually over here, but there is something else I have in mind that I want to put here, and I'm going to actually redo the landscape in this area too. But anyway, that's a video for another day. But for right now, here's what that tree space looks like. And yeah, so I'm going to basically carry it all the way around, and I'm doing something that's fairly simple, just doing a nice little circle, build it up with some nice soil, and then just plant my flowers quick and easy. So that's the plan. Okay, y'all, so right now you can kind of see here where I've started putting some brick edging around this tree here. And the reason I'm doing this is because when you look at this landscape, you guys, let me just kind of go back a little bit. This is a large area. I mean, seriously large. And there are several things I want to do to this area just to kind of eat up some of the space. So one of the things I want to do is I want to carry these brick edging, it's like a brick border, I guess, all the way around the entire tree. So that's what I plan to do, and you can see I've already started. I have a few bricks over here. I know for a fact this is not going to be enough. I'm going to have to run out and get some more. Not sure exactly how much more, but definitely more. So I'm going to just carry that border all the way around the tree. And the plan is to add some soil, some compost within the brick edging circle, and then just plant some beautiful lush flowers in this area. And this is just going to help this area to pop even more, because right now the space just has so much mulch everywhere, and it's just not where I want it to be yet, which of course I knew that when I initially did it. I knew that there were other things I wanted to add to the space, and of course I do have some plants. They're just starting to come out. You can kind of see here where I had planted some hydrangeas. So I do have several hydrangeas, especially in these little loops here. and some other plants. However, I still wanted to add some additional flowering plants. And what I think I'm going to do in this area is plant a combination of annuals and perennials. So that's the plan. That's what I'm wanting to do in that area. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started with adding the remaining brick edges around this tree. You guys can kind of see here where I started the process. And so now I'm just going to go ahead and try and, place all the brick edging. Yeah, just going to go ahead and add these. These are actually the exact same brick edging that's around the perimeter of this landscape. It's just this larger version of it. So the ones that are around the perimeter of the landscape are much smaller. So I purchased these brick edging from Lowe's and I paid approximately $2.98 a brick. So not too bad of a price. So we're gonna go ahead and finish, adding these around the tree and just kind of getting a feel for how the brick edging looks in that space. Y'all, so this is how far the brick edges got. As you can see, I still have a little bit more space to go. I don't know, I'm thinking maybe about 10 or 12 more brick edgings should do the trick. But one of the things I do want to point out, so the intention was never to come out this far from the tree. Initially I wanted to started like right here because I just wanted a little small little flower bed, but unfortunately, as you can see here, the tree roots would not allow for that. And these are some darn thick tree roots and it comes all the way down. So I had to literally start the edging at the bottom of the tree root where it's deeper in the ground, so then that way the bricks could lay evenly across the roots. So that is the only reason why I brought this out so far from the tree. And in this space, I've been dealing with so many tree roots, y'all. I mean, it was just absolutely ridiculous. I did, however, ended up changing out this particular landscape, and I'll show you guys what I ended up doing. And then I'm still not done, but yeah, the roots were just basically the main thing that caused me to rethink the entire design or the entire layout around this tree. So that's something else you guys will notice a little later in this project is because of the roots, just throughout this entire landscape, it was really, really hard to like dig holes to put the flowers in around the tree. So a solution for that was to just basically create a raised garden bed. And with that, I just, basically just added my topsoil, added my soil, compost, whatever, just lay it right on top of the mulch. And you guys will see me do that a little later on. But that was a super simple and easy solution to avoid having to dig the holes because of all the roots. So that's pretty much where I'm at with this project so far. All right, y'all, so I'm already sweating, y'all. It's so hot, oh my gosh. But anywho, I wanted to show y'all what I did. I made some changes to that space. All right, so here's what I decided to use instead of the large brick edging. These are edgers as well. They're like this really, really nice wood tone. And this is what underneath them look like. They have these little, I don't know what these are. Hooks, not hooks, but whatever they are. They come, they're poking out of the wood edging. I think there's only like, darn, look at this one, that's already chipping. Crap. Okay, well, that's wood. I mean, what do you expect? So anyway, so it has, well, stakes. So it has like 3 stakes sticking out from underneath the bottom of these. And I'm gonna roll this back over and show you guys what it looks like underneath. So here's what they look like underneath. And I think this is super cute. I got this from Lowe's. It was about $10.98 each. So it took me about 5 of these to do the space that I want to do around the tree. So I'm going to be using this. I bought a combination of this topsoil here, the topsoil lawn and garden soil conditioner, and I'm going to be using that with my star green. This one actually has the fertilizer, so I'm going to be pairing it with that. Let me just give you guys a quick close-up of that. So yeah, so that's what I'm going to be using. And in terms of the flowers, I'm going to be using 2 different types of flowers. All right, y'all, so here's a quick look at the flowers I'm going to be using. This is the first one here. This particular plant requires part shade, and I actually purchased 6 of these. These were $4.98. These actually prefer part sun. And right now, that tree area, you know, the leaves have not grown back yet. But once it does, it'll be plenty of shade in the space, because this is also the area where I have a lot of my hydrangeas planted. And you know, most of these hydrangeas prefer shade or part shade or whatever. So the leaves are coming back on the tree. It just takes a little while. But here's a look at the other plants that I'm going to be putting around the tree. I think these are so cute. Oh my goodness. So these are super cute. These were $6.48. These prefer partial sun. These are actually perennials. And also those other ones are perennials too. And I just really, really love the colors of these. Now these bloom during the spring, which is perfect. So after the spring, when these start to go in or whatever, I don't know if they remain green or not. If anybody knows what these plants look like when they're not in bloom, let me know in the comments, please. But that's still perfect for me, because by that time they'll have the impatiens out in the stores. And quite frankly, I prefer to plant impatiens in areas where there's like, you know, shade or, you know, part sun or whatever the case is. Either that or the, is it Vancas or Zinnias is one of the two. But I prefer planting those anyway, but mostly the impatiens in the shaded area. So that still works out perfectly. All right, y'all, so what I'm about to do now is get started with adding these wood edging around the tree. Y'all, I'm just so indecisive. It's like, you know, even with this particular edging, I didn't keep it. I changed this too. So one of the things I did not like about this particular edging, you guys, is that number one, the design of this was poorly done. Like I showed you guys earlier, these edging only came with about 3 stakes. That's not nearly enough, which is why it kept flopping over, and you can see me here keep trying to prop it up and prop it up because it just would not lay straight, or it would not stand up straight. So yeah, that's just my opinion. It just was poorly designed, and it just became such a headache trying to get them to sit up properly, because the look of it just didn't have everything looking nice and neat in this space, which is another reason why I switched these out. But yeah, so anyway, this is what they look like. And again, you see that I keep fumbling with these edging, because for the life of me, I cannot seem to get them to stand up straight. So that's really starting to become an issue. So if you're wondering why I switched out the brick edgers for these wood edgers, well, at first I felt like the brick edgers were just, you know, it was just too many hardscape in this landscape, and I wanted to soften the look of the landscape, and I felt like I had enough brick edgers with the small bricks that I had around the perimeter of the landscape. So I wanted to give the space a softer look. I want to take a moment and show y'all right quickly the issue that I keep running into, whether I'm using the brick edging or these edging here. It's the tree roots. So this is a humongous tree root, y'all. It is so huge and so thick, and it's just hard, like trying to get this close enough to, you know, I guess, fill in the gap here. So I don't know, I'm gonna have to figure something out with that. Not exactly sure what yet, but. So that's one of the issues I keep running into, as well as the issue with these edging keep flopping over. They won't stand up straight. So y'all can see me trying to struggle to basically force the stakes into the ground. And again, that's because of all the roots that are in this area. All right, y'all. So I don't know how I'm feeling about this. I feel like whoever designed this did not do it properly. They should have actually had the stakes on the first edge of each one of these little pieces of wood, because they keep flopping over on the edges. Yeah, we can't leave it like that. That's not going to work for me. And you can see how they're just kind of leaning over, because again, there's no support on that first couple of wood. I mean, literally, or that first piece rather. They should have had it on the edge here. So I'm gonna see if I can doctor this up a little bit, maybe use some zip ties or something to try to make them a little bit more secure and keep them from, you know, flopping over or whatever. I do like the look of this more so than the brick edging, I think, because again, I just felt like it was just too much bricks. And when I step back and just kind of, you know, show you guys the whole area, and I feel like that complements the fence as well as the privacy pergola. So just kind of breaking up the landscapes and stuff, the hardscapes, I guess, just really, you know, just kind of helps soften the space. But y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment. We're not done yet. Again, like I said, I'm going to have to doctor this up as best I can. If I can't, then we'll have to figure something else out. But yeah, so let me run and grab some zip ties, I guess. Oh, goodness. And see if that will help. Y'all, so I think I might have came up with a little solution. So I went ahead and got some of these stakes. I already had several of these because I use these in my landscape edging. The little, you know, the black landscape edging, this is what I use. So what I decided to do was actually stick this in between the little flap here and the first little board edging in the front that's flapping, that doesn't have that extra support. I'm gonna try this now and see how well this works. So let's take a look. All right, y'all saw what I just did? So I basically, let me just kind of zoom in a little bit. So I basically just stuck the stake, like you guys saw me did, in between the little rubber flap that's securing the little board edging, and just, pushed it into the ground, and that helps support it. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do with the rest of these edging. Okay, so I managed to secure it using the stakes, and here's what it looks like now. So I really like the way this looks. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments if you think I should have kept the brick edging, or do you think this wood really softens up the space like I do? So yeah, I really like the way this looks. And I try to close the gap right here as much as I could. Yeah, I may or may not still use a zip tie, we'll see. Then again, it might be okay. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and get started with adding my soil. Now, you could rake out the mulch. I don't see the point in doing that. I'm literally just going to add the soil directly on top and thicken it up enough to where my plants can thrive. So yeah, so that's another thing you can do too. You don't have to clear out the mulch if you don't want to. Just add adequate soil and these plants will do just fine. So let's go ahead and get started with that. Y'all, I just couldn't resist. I had to rub my hands all through this soil, y'all. It's just so nice and rich. All right, y'all, so I've added the soil, and now I'm gonna go ahead and get started with placing my flowers. First, I wanna go ahead and just kind of, come up with a layout, and then I'm gonna just take them out the pots and then plant them. So let's get started. So y'all, this is a little planting method that I saw someone do on TikTok where they basically just used the pot that the flower came in and just kind of, I guess pressed it down in the soil to just get the print of the pot, and then that way you could just put the flower in. This worked, then again it didn't work. One of the reasons it really didn't work because I mean, you guys know I have mulch underneath the soil, so it only went but so deep. So yeah, in that case, I had to, just use my little shovel and finish digging the hole. But for some of them it did work, but not for all of them. Good morning, you guys. So it's the next morning. Y'all, it's really, really early. So I wanted to show you guys my progress on yesterday. This project literally took me like an hour to complete that, the flower bed. But I want you guys' opinion. I want you to tell me what you think of the edging that I use. I just kind of mixed it up a little bit because like I told you guys before, I wanted to just kind of soften the look a little bit. But now I'm just like, I don't know. I like it, but I don't know if I love it. So I want you guys to let me know in the comments. I kind of feel like I might want to do a poll. Have you guys vote on whether or not if I should keep the wood edging or if I should go back to using the brick edging around that tree space. So y'all, I literally went on like this for about 5 minutes, just rambling about poles, about voting, just trying to do anything to convince myself basically that I liked the landscape around the tree when in fact I did not. And so, yeah, this is what happens when my indecisiveness kicks in. But in Sunday's video, I'm going to show you guys how I completely redid the landscape around that tree and now I love it. But in the meantime, let's take a look at the landscape that we did on yesterday and just kind of see what that space looks like at the moment. Okay, y'all, so here's the final look of what the space looks like. I really, really love these pops of color with the flowers. I think this is absolutely gorgeous. And I like the edging. I love the color because, again, I felt like, I feel like it kind of, complements the, not only the fence, but also the pergola, the privacy pergola. And I just wanted something else in this space to break up all the black mulch. And I felt like that brown edging really did the trick. And let me go back a little bit further so you guys can see the entire space. Okay, y'all, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. Just as another quick reminder, I will be showing you guys on Sunday the actual final reveal of this space. I pretty much took it to another level, y'all. Yeah, so that will be a nice surprise on Sunday. But again, like I said before, it's not that I hate the space. I don't hate it. It's just not really doing it for me. It's not a bad landscape. It's a quick and easy and simple solution for a nice area around the tree. It's just not exactly what I wanted. But in the meantime, thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's content, don't forget to give it a huge thumbs up. And if you are new to this channel and visiting for the first time, welcome. My name is Carolina. And as always, to my existing subscribers, you guys know you are always, always, always welcome back. And I look forward to seeing you guys in my next video. Until then, bye now.